Hello team, something a little bit different we're going to do on this video, and if it goes good we'll do more of them, but we'll start doing interviews of people who have got interesting builds or worthy builds, whether they're at the beginning of a build, think about a build, halfway through a build, and then towards the end of a build. But who I'd like to talk to today is sort of mid part through, or progressively towards the end of a build that's been progressing through mild power, big power, massive power, and then other upgrades along the way. So before we go any further, I'll introduce you to our next and first interviewee. Some say he's got a letter R tattooed on his left buttock and a letter G on his right buttock, and when he bends over he gives you the full Rog. All we know, he's called Drew Willis. Hi Drew.
G'day everyone.
Alright, so Drew's here to tell us about his build. If you want, Drew, just from start to finish, sort of maybe the first time that I saw the car. So I'll accredit Drew as the inspiration for buying my first GTR, and this car in particular. And when I first met this vehicle, which is called, and it's correctly named, QIC32, and even back then it was QIC32. So Drew will tell you a little bit about it from there, sort of where he got it from, when roughly he bought it, and what his plans were for the car.
Yeah, so I bought the car back in late 2021. The car come from Townsville. The car had some work done to it. It had a built engine, 2.6 litre cast block, Nitto rotating parts, a Dandy Race engines head on the car, Precision 64-66 turbo, custom manifolds, Haltech ECU. Went for a ride in the car. Probably didn't intend to buy the car, but wanted to go for a ride. Went for a ride. Bought the car probably 2 weeks later. Yeah, it just blew me away. I thought it was quick, so...
Yeah, typical story. So what did you really like about the car at that time, Drew, knowing that you got a background in Skylines, because you've obviously had them before, built cars before? Is there any particular one thing that turned you on about this one?
Always wanted a black car. Always sort of had pretty cars, so like silver or pewter. Went for a ride, and it was just fun to drive. Just what a great street package. Yeah, it just went really good. Liked the black metallic paint, and pretty well got conned into it from both my boys, I guess. So we bought the car. Yeah.
Right, it's been a fantastic thing, and at that point it was quite a good car. A lot of power from what was fundamentally stock-ish.
Yep.
Internals bottom end.
Yep.
I'm talking about the actual crankcase, because it did have forged internals at that point, but a standard crankcase, and the car was, you know, kind of stretched. But Drew used to use this car a lot. So he's going to sort of tell you now about some of the plans, some of the shortfalls, and his journey along the way, transmission wise, and then road wheels, tyres, everything else that he's done to this car, steering, everything's been heavily modified, and we'll start to talk about a few of them things now.
Righto, interior of the car, we'll talk about the gearbox. I've progressed through 3 standard gearboxes. I think I broke 3 standard gearboxes, probably in around about 1700k of driving.
Good effort.
$2,500 a hit, pulling them out here at home, putting new ones in, pain in the bum. So I then transitioned to the PAR engineering straight cut gearbox set. Had that built on the Gold Coast, brought it back here to home, put in the car. Fantastic, great investment, around about $7,000 or $8,000 to convert to the straight cut gears. Drove that until I pulled the build off the road, or the car off the road, for the next upgrade, and now we've upgraded to the PPG 6-speed sequential box. Reasons for going this way: super cool. Wanted the strength, wanted the reliability, wanted clutchless, flat foot shifting, so I can just basically stay into it and just keep yanking gears. And PPG for me just represented value for money. Still expensive, but as far as sequentials goes, very well priced for what you actually get from it. So
that's fantastic, and tough as anything. Like strong as will put mega power through it. What you get from the cabin view is obviously in the stock position, but a whole new shifter sort of this, and then you've got a gear position display unit here, so when you're in driving it, you just know whichever position you're in at any one time. Clutch to pull away, and then just driving,
just yank
and
gears.
And that's up and down gears, or
up and down. It's smooth, it's like butter.
Right.
Especially going back down through the gears. Any rev range, you can just start punching back gear by gear. Obviously you can't jump gears. You do have to go up through all the gears and down through all the gears. So a bit of a transition in your mindset driving a sequential. You can't just go fourth to second, or vice versa. You've got to go back through them one by one,
just like a motorbike. Perfect. So I've just spotted something fantastic and shiny in the boot. Along with this thing, we've got this weird thing, and we've got this. So tell us about what we've got in here, Drew.
Boots aren't undergone significant changes, I guess. So I like a pretty clean engine bay, so I've decided to remove the power steering pump from the engine bay and the reservoir, and I've gone the upgraded Astra
Perfect
power steering. 2 hydraulic lines run up to the front rack of the car. It's all directly wired here into the battery, into a circuit breaker, and then it's triggered via the ECU.
Yeah, so that'd stop any power drain from the motor with that, but also cleans up the engine bay dramatically.
Yep.
Just get it in the boot out of the way. Is that the only reasons for doing this?
I wanted it to be clean, and I wanted it to be easy to work on.
Correct.
Up the front of the car,
Lovely.
and it was clutter that was easily removed.
Yeah.
At little expense.
Fantastic.
Battery in the boot. A lot of people doing it, so
again cleans up the engine bay. With 34s and 33s, they're already in this section under the back, not in the 32s, but to clean up his engine bay and make it more serviceable, Drew's put this in the back. Plus it doesn't suffer from any heat, etc. in the back of here. So look at this.
Dry sump.
Fantastic.
So RBs are renowned for excessive crankcase pressures and lots of blow-by. So bit the bullet around about before Christmas to go dry sump. Big cost.
Yeah, so we've never actually run this system. He's still in development. Everything, although it's sort of, you can buy lots of things off the shelf, when it's your own first time, it's still, you'd class it as a bit of a development thing.
Yeah, it has been. So learning along the way. So, so no longer a wet sump. All the oil stored for the engine in the boot of the car.
Perfect. Who made this fantastic bracket? Because that's not a factory item, is it?
Shout out to Matt at Main Street Race Fabrication. So Matty does all of my aluminium intercooler pipes, brackets, etc. So Matty's great with that sort of stuff. So
yeah,
local guy.
We can hand over his phone number or whatever, can't we?
We can,
if somebody's
mate,
looking for that sort of service.
So yeah, we set up from home. Drop your gear in, pick it up. It's all done. So it does a really good job. So
lovely. Look at these. There's a massive lines. Just spotted these mega radials and brake package. Tell us about these, Drew.
Yeah, so the car predominantly has run on an 18-inch XT9 wheel with low profile tyres. Pushing the power levels that we're going to push out of the car now, I've changed to a 15-inch buddy club rim and a PSR radial street tyre.
And these are completely legal?
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. And what brake package? Because you've upgraded the brakes on this thing somewhat, didn't you?
Yeah, so I've kept the standard calipers, I've upgraded the rotors, and I've upgraded the type of pad that I'm using, so...
Yeah, fantastic. And then pull it up quite well?
Heaps better. Even with sort of 700 horsepower, this car was sketchy on the brakes.
Yep.
Just by changing the brake pad, the rotors, it's amazing transition.
Different thing.
Much better.
Any other plans for any sort of rapid stopping?
No.
No?
No, perhaps a parachute.
That's what,
that's
what might be in the works.
We're aiming there, so we'll get it running, we'll get it making the power, and then the parachute will...
Watch this space, clean behind at the moment, just like Drew's underpants, and then a couple of times when he won't, I can see a change happening in the back of here. So we've got some of the other bits and bobs that are going into the build that Drew's collected and modified and got the way he wants it. Some of them being used, tested, tried, some of them untested. Have a look at it. Alright, Drew will tell you a bit of a lot more about than I know.
So turbo selection, Precision Gen 2 76 75 turbocharger, 1.28 AR with a T4 split housing. We run the car initially with this, just amazing, great response. We were pretty excited of the results it it achieved. So gonna stick with that for the moment. PRP, the latest coil set you can buy from PRP. They're massive. They can run up to 4,000 horsepower. They'll support apparently. So
they're insane.
More than enough for what we're doing. Manifold 6 boost, proven time and time again. We didn't have the EGTs in the last setup, so Matty from Main Street Fab has put all the EGTs in, which will allow us to measure the temperature of each cylinder.
Fantastic work.
Individually, and then tune each one individually. Running a twin 40mm wastegate setup into 45mm screamer pipes. Sounds great, and obviously, yeah, you get the double barrels coming out behind the cylinder rack. Custom dry sump. So had this. This was custom built by High Octane Racing in Sydney. Craftsmanship's first class. Amazing job. Everything down to just the way they've finished it all off. So
predominantly, for those unaware, Drew will let you know. Obviously it's a scavenging system rather than the oil sitting inside to a predetermined level with your dipstick, which can cause windage issues, interference with connecting rods, all sorts of other little weird things. And with this system, all the oil that ends up in the sump, like used from the engine, from the bearings, etc., falls into the sump, gets collected in through these louvers into a mesh, and then pumped off. Instead of being held in the sump, then it's pumped off to its tank, and then back through, and then used again, externally filtered and used again that way. So many benefits, especially under rally type conditions or hard use. It's just a fantastic upgrade. Not the cheapest thing, but a fantastic upgrade. What about what's in here, Drew?
Diff, yeah. So I run 2 different types of diff in the car. I never had an issue with braking front diffs, but I had issues steering with the standard front diff of the car. It was wild.
A lot of torque steer, yeah.
A lot of torque steer to try and kill you in first, second and third gear.
Sure would. I've seen it.
On what you were doing. So I've upgraded to a quaif diff in the front of the car.
Did you say queef?
Quaif. Quaif. So money well spent. Diff was all rebuilt by Hart's Transmissions at Brendale. A month or 2 ago. So
yeah. Another indestructible. Keep it in a straight line. That's where it needs to be.
Makes it go a lot straighter. Here's a dry sump pump. So this bolts on the front passenger side of the engine. It's belt driven off the front pulley of the car. You've got your scavenging pumps, your ins and outs, and all these connect up to all various points on the sump. Old school, genuine HKS cam gears.
These are going back on, yeah?
Yep, these are going back on.
Yeah.
So I run the HKS cam gears, and then the genuine HKS Type B belt, which is the heavy duty belt, timing belt. So
fantastic. And the latest addition to the family?
Back this week from Tune Performance. Again, like a head that we've spec'd up. This head, so I told you with the other build, we split the head. hitting this sort of power level, we didn't want to risk anything. So $5,000, I flew ahead out of Japan. I was here 7 days later. It's a late model head, second hand. That went down to tune performance. We worked out what specification, how far we wanted to go. So basically we did everything. 1 mil oversize each side, titanium retainers, heavy duty valve springs, Kelford 182 SE split lobe cams. It's all been heated and pressure tested, decked, faced. It's had just days and days of porting. There's really not much more you can do to a head.
No, that's it. That's just full power, full
power, full house. We can go to there's only one camshaft bigger, and that's the 182 SF. We can go that, but we're going to start with this first.
So target horsepower from this package?
11 to 1200 easily. So,
scary stuff.
I guess the limiting factor again is the 05U block, which we've meticulously prepared to try and get it to hold together. Otherwise, I guess the next avenue for me is either go to the RB30 cast iron block, but more than likely I'll go to the Bullet Race Engineering 26 block.
Full billet.
Full billet, this head package and new rotating assembly. Dry sump will fit that package as well. So it's just a matter of transferring everything over.
So I've got something fantastic on the floor here. I just noticed on this little pallet. What can you tell us about this, Drew?
So this is version 2 of the new bottom end for QIC32. As I explained when I bought the car, it just had an 05U cast iron block, crank pistons, rod, etc. I had issues with the block cracking on the driver's side between 5 and 6, and sort of every sort of 2500, 3000 K I was in there with the JB weld and JB weld it up. It didn't have a brace on it either, and I used to 8th mile the car and launch it pretty hard, so it kept cracking. So we did away with that, started with a whole new setup, 05U heritage block, brand new. We've gone a spool 2.8 stroker kit with CP pistons, drag I-beam rods, billet crank. We've also braced the engine with a Godzilla Motorsport brace. The block's been meticulously prepped. What else have we done? It's concrete filled. So it's 3/4 filled with concrete to help give us some rigidity in the block. It's been really well prepped because 05U blocks are renowned for cracking. We've taken this one to the limit of its prep work. So internally it's all been deburred and edged. You got the brace, you got the concrete. We managed to put sort of 1500 K on this block before we had that head issue. So the block came out, it went back to tune performance. We've rebuilt it. We changed number 3 conrod just for safety. We've made some adjustments to the clearancing on the big end bearings to suit the new dry sump setup. We've also machined grooves, O-ring grooves into the top of the deck. And you probably can't quite see it in the camera, but this now has a stainless steel O-ring around each cylinder to cope with the boost levels.
Yeah, fantastic.
We still run a Nitto full metal head gasket, but again we've just built some more safety in it. So
fantastic, big power and durability, and should see many hours of flogging,
at our power range, and then you're pretty much at the limits here of what the 05U will handle.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, thanks for your time today, Drew.
It's all right.
And little chop.
Yep.
And help you given. So that's a brief talk about where this car is today. Do we put a time scale on it, Drew?
Yeah, motor goes together, so head and bottom end, all the ancillaries, next 10 days.
Okay, you hit it first. So I think maybe, I don't know, we'll regroup in, I reckon, a month-ish.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
A month-ish, and then we'll let you know how this thing goes. Hopefully it's back together and in its primary low power stage, just a bit more running in required, and then give it the Rog.
Yeah, full send.
Full send coming up.
Full
All right,
send.
thanks guys.
Thanks.